Hey, Slaycation Squad. Welcome back to the channel where every tale is a spine-chilling journey into the unknown. I'm your host from the Abyss. And tonight, we're diving deep into the shadows of horror. But before we embark on this hair-raising adventure, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a scream. Seriously, you won't want to miss what we have in store for you tonight. The sun cast its golden rays over the city of Pittsburgh as the world awakened to a new day. But for Frankie Page, a cloud of confusion and fear hung heavy in the air. The wounds that adorned her body like grotesque works of art had not ceased their assault upon her fragile existence. As the news of Frankie's inexplicable stigmata reached the hallowed corridors of the Catholic Church, it stirred a ripple of both skepticism and curiosity among the ecclesiastical elite. And thus, the journey of Father Andrew Kiernan, a learned yet doubting priest, began. Father Andrew stood at the threshold of Frankie's modest apartment, his gaze fixed upon the crucifix hanging on her wall. The flickering candlelight danced upon his furrowed brow, reflecting the uncertainty that lingered within his own soul. He had dedicated his life to the church, but his faith had been eroded over the years, eroded by the relentless tide of questions that plagued his mind. As he stepped inside, the air grew dense with tension, a palpable manifestation of doubt mingling with faith. Frankie's once defiant countenance was now replaced by an expression of vulnerability, her eyes wearied by the weight of her affliction. She regarded Father Andrew with a mixture of curiosity and despair, unsure of what to make of this man of God standing before her. "Frankie," Father Andrew began, his voice a soothing balm to the wounds that tarnished her body. "I have come to bear witness to the extraordinary journey that has befallen you, to understand how a skeptic like you now finds herself caught in the crosshairs of such divine affliction." Frankie's gaze shifted from the crucifix to Father Andrew's eyes, searching for answers that seemed forever out of reach. "I don't believe in any of this," she whispered, her voice tinged with a fragile hope. "But the wounds, they won't let me deny their presence." Father Andrew nodded empathetically, his own faith journey etched onto his lined face. "I too have known the chill of doubt that gnaws at the soul," he confessed. "But perhaps, atop this precipice of disbelief, we may find the spark that ignites a fire within us, a fire that burns away our fears and sets us on a path towards enlightenment." These words stirred a flicker of hope within Frankie's wounded heart. But doubt still clenched its grip upon her. "What are you hoping to find here, Father?" she asked, her voice trembling with a blend of trepidation and desperate yearning. Father Andrew gazed into the depths of her eyes, the windows to a tortured soul. "Answers, my child," he replied with a gentle resolve. "Answers that may hold the key to your healing, but also answers that might illuminate the shadows of our own beliefs." With each word, Father Andrew felt the weight of his mission settle upon his broad shoulders. His skepticism waged war with the flickering embers of faith within. Battles fought deep within the recesses of his conflicted soul. The investigation had just begun, and the ceaseless pursuit of truth would become both a boon and a burden. As Frankie and Father Andrew delved deeper into the maze of her affliction, they would soon discover that the path they walked was not guided solely by religion, but by the potent forces of the supernatural. And in their quest for understanding, they would unravel a tapestry woven with the threads of ancient secrets and forbidden knowledge. The investigation had commenced, sparking a collision of doubt, faith, and the unyielding pursuit of truth. And within the crucible of this uneasy alliance, Frankie and Father Andrew would confront the heretical and the divine, pushing the boundaries of their own beliefs and forever altering the course of their lives. The musty halls of the Vatican echoed with whispered doubts and hushed murmurs as the news of Frankie Page's stigmata reached the highest echelons of the Catholic Church. Skepticism and resistance crept through the sacred chambers like tendrils of shadow, threatening to snuff out any flicker of curiosity or belief. Within the inner sanctum, Father Andrew Kiernan found himself at odds with an entrenched bureaucracy that sought to maintain the status quo. Father Dario Houseman, a prominent figure in the church hierarchy, with his imposing presence and sharp intellect, expressed the most fervent doubt and resistance to investigating Frankie's case further. Father Andrew, a man known for his dedication and unwavering faith, felt the weight of the church's skepticism pressing upon his shoulders. His faith wavered, teetering on the precipice of doubt as he questioned the very foundations of his beliefs. But his sense of duty, his unwavering commitment to the truth, compelled him to push forward, to seek answers despite the resistance he faced. In the dimly lit chamber where the inner council convened, Father Andrew stood tall, his voice steady but tinged with frustration. "We cannot turn a blind eye to these stigmata wounds," he argued, his words carrying the weight of his conviction. "It is our duty, as shepherds of our flock, to investigate and understand this phenomenon." Father Dario, his face a mask of resolute skepticism, paced back and forth, his piercing gaze fixed on Father Andrew. "You overestimate the significance of this," he dismissed, his voice laced with disdain. "There have been countless claims of stigmata throughout history, often easily explained by psychological or physical causes." Father Andrew's jaw tightened, keeping his emotions in check despite the frustration building within him. "Yes, there have been many claims, but we cannot ignore the possibility that there may be more to this case," he responded, his voice steady but tinged with a trace of impatience. "We must investigate with an open mind, with the hope of uncovering a deeper truth." Father Dario scoffed, his voice laced with feigned indifference. "And what truth do you think we will uncover?" he retorted, his tone dripping with skepticism. "A miracle? Supernatural forces? Nonsense!" Father Andrew's resolve hardened, a flicker of determination igniting within his eyes. "I do not claim to know the truth, but I believe that it is our duty to explore these possibilities," he declared, his voice echoing in the hallowed chamber. If we are to lead our faithful with integrity, we must confront the unknown, however uncomfortable it may be. Silence hung heavy in the air, the weight of diverging beliefs and conflicting interests pressing upon Father Andrew's shoulders. The council members shifted in their seats, their murmurs and skeptical glances a constant reminder of the uphill battle he faced. But Father Andrew refused to waver, to allow doubt to cloud his judgment. He knew that the truth was elusive and that the path to it was fraught with resistance. But he believed that it was in the face of doubt that true faith shone brightest. With a final sigh, Father Dario relented, his voice tinged with begrudging curiosity. Very well, Father Andrew, he conceded, his tone laced with skepticism. You may investigate further, but remember that you carry the burden of proof on your shoulders. Do not let your faith cloud your judgment. Father Andrew nodded, his gratitude tinged with determination. Thank you, Father Dario, he said, his voice steady and resolute. I will not allow my faith to blind me, but I will also not let doubt consume me. I will seek the truth, wherever it may lead. As the council dispersed, Father Andrew felt a renewed sense of purpose, a glimmer of hope amidst the clouds of skepticism. The path ahead would be treacherous, marked by doubt and resistance. But he was determined to forge ahead, to uncover the truth behind Frankie Page's stigmata. And perhaps, in doing so, find solace in his own wavering faith.